Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 5:30 News on KPAX, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, I'm Jill Valley.
And I'm Dennis Bragg. All eyes in the forecast tonight as western Montana and much of the state continue to be under a red flag warning through this evening for gusty winds and some lightning due to dry thunderstorms.
Those conditions present some critical fire danger and the chance for new fire starts. Here's a live look at the Missoula Valley from our St. Patrick Hospital iCam, where it's still smoky, but air quality is slightly improved from earlier this week. Meteorologist Russ Thomas joining us now with the latest. Russ.
Yeah, and really as we look at this particular red flag warning, at this point it's going to be about the winds and the humidity. Dry thunderstorms kind of out of the equation at this point. This goes through 9 p.m. this evening. What we're seeing is winds, especially at ridge tops, 15 to 25, gusting up to 30, and also humidity values anywhere from 15 to 25%. And again, these factors, of course, part of what makes us so dangerous with these fires. Again, it does extend to 9 p.m., so not too long before that wraps up. First Security Bank iCam, you look right here at the Bitterroot Valley. It is, of course, smoky. We'll have your complete forecast coming up.
And we continue to track the latest on the evacuation orders and warnings in tonight's Fire Watch coverage on MTN. The Sheep Gap Fire, that's the one burning between Plains and Thompson Falls, adds more than 500 acres overnight. The head of Montana's Department of Natural Resources and Conservation urging people to use the utmost caution with several weeks of fire season left to go. Plus, with hunting season tomorrow, Missoula FWP outlines what hunters need to know to stay safe as the fires continue to burn throughout western Montana.
The Missoula County Sheriff's Office is working closely with the incident commander to evaluate the danger posed by the 33,300-acre Rice Ridge fire burning near Seeley Lake. Officials say they will make every effort to process requests to do escorted visits for people who are under an evacuation order as soon as it's safe to do that. Now here's the latest. The Sheriff's Office placed 90 more homes under an evacuation warning yesterday afternoon because of rapidly changing fire conditions. In addition to that warning, authorities report 1,000 homes and buildings are still under a mandatory evacuation order. A fire information center is still set up between Corey's Valley Market and the Wilderness Gateway Inn in Seeley Lake. Evacuees are asked to check in at that checkpoint. A public fire information meeting is tonight at 6 o'clock at the Seeley Lake Community Center, and we have a reporter there to bring you an update on tonight's 10 o'clock news.
A Seeley Lake man is accused of nearly striking a National Guard soldier who was manning a roadblock for an area under evacuation orders. 73-year-old Stuart Stone is charged with criminal endangerment and resisting arrest. Prosecutors say in court documents that Stone pulled up to a roadblock in place because of the evacuations with the Rice Ridge fire. He made contact with a soldier there who told him he couldn't proceed because the orders were in place. As the soldier radioed for assistance, Stone hit the gas and sped towards the soldier, who had to jump out of the way, according to prosecutors. Missoula County Sheriff's Office deputies found the suspect vehicle nearby. When authorities tried to arrest Stone, they say he resisted and tried to go back into the house before eventually being taken into custody. Stone has since been released after promising in writing to show up for future court appearances.
The Sheep Gap fire outside of Plains grew to more than 770 acres since it started by lightning earlier this week. 500 acres were added yesterday alone. The Sanders County Sheriff's Office placed about 50 homes under an evacuation warning late yesterday. The fire is located about 9 miles west-northwest of Plains along the south side of Highway 200. The fire is burning in rugged terrain that has mature timber and a high number of snags. It is one of several lightning-caused fires that started Tuesday night on the Plains-Thompson Falls Ranger District.
The head of Montana's Department of Natural Resources and Conservation is urging people to use the utmost caution with several weeks of fire season left to go, and that might mean you'll need to postpone some of your outdoor activities, such as firewood cutting, headed into the fall. 2017 is already a fire season for the record books. In western Montana alone, it's cost more than $100 million to fight just the major blazes that have plagued the landscape and filled the sky with fire smoke since mid-July. And what has fire agencies concerned is that there's still a lot of fire season to go. Historically, some of the largest fires happen after Labor Day. And with conditions as dry as they are and no rain in the forecast, DNRC Chief John Tubbs says it's critical for Montanans to stay on their guard.
Yeah, we've got a lot of fire season ahead of us. There's nothing in the weather forecast that says that this is going to come to an end anytime soon. What you can do most to support firefighters is to be very careful when you go out in the woods. When you're working on your property, be conscious that starting a fire right now is the last thing we need. Let's keep our firefighters safe, and the best way is for you to not start a fire.
With little or no rain since June, it's been a complete turnaround from our wet winter and spring. In fact, on the Lolo Peak fire, the probability of ignition has been as high as 95%. That means if you had 100 matches, lit them and dropped them, all but 5 would start a fire. And we're getting to that time of the year when activities like firewood collection and hunting hit our calendars. Tubbs says this might be the year to postpone some of those excursions.
You have to be cautious. If you are going to use any mechanical stuff in the woods, make sure you know what the fire restrictions are. Do it in the morning when the humidities are higher, but frankly, the weather conditions are just not conducive. If you can put off for a while and stay out of the forests, let's enjoy Montana, but let's keep our firefighters safe.
Well, we talked about this a little bit at the start of the show, but hunters are gearing up for a busy weekend. Upland game bird and general archery seasons are opening this week.
Augusta McDonald has details on how hunters can be sure they're headed to a good place, but above all, prevent starting any more fires.
Even though there are some hunting season openers coming up soon, it doesn't mean that this summer's fires are coming to an end. Now, with the ongoing extreme fire conditions we're seeing in much of the region and the stage 2 fire restrictions that are still in place for much of western Montana, there's a few things that hunters need to know.
Right now, being in the middle of a really tremendous fire season, that's generating a lot of questions on where can we go hunting, can we still go, and what do I need to do to be safe out there. And all the hunting districts are open, the seasons will open as planned, but you want to be sure that you check where you're going because there are some road closures in place. There's some areas that have specific closures on Forest Service or BLM lands.
Additionally, the state closed another region due to fire activity, restricting all access to the Blackfoot Clearwater Wildlife Management Area in Missoula and Powell counties, south and west of Woodworth Road, and a portion west of Highway 83. Ovando is the only part of this management area that remains open. Stage 2 restrictions mean no campfires anywhere and watching where you drive everywhere. One of the key things you can do to prevent starting a grass fire with your vehicle, which has become a very real concern with these dry fuels, is to stay parked and drive, of course, on paved roads and paved parking lots versus parking in a grassy area off-road. In spite of fire conditions, hunters say they're looking forward to the season.
The community's excited. They want to get out there. They want to hunt. Some people are a little nervous about getting out there and trying to hoof it up the hill and deal with the smoke inhalation, but it's one of those things that I think, as Montanans, we've come to learn to deal with.
For hunters heading into the backcountry, use extra caution. Reporting near Missoula, I'm Augusta McDonald for MTN News.
There are links on our website where you can look up the closures, including today's restriction of the Blackfoot Clearwater Wildlife Management Area.
The Missoula YMCA is stepping up to give fire evacuees a place to rest and relax while they're out of their homes. The Y is handing out vouchers at the Red Cross evacuation centers. The vouchers serve as a temporary full membership where families or individuals can take a shower or swim or work out. There's even child care provided. Essentially, this is a safe place to go for a few hours to take a break from the chaos and the smoke.
They just have a safe place to come get out of the smoke. If they have families, they have a place to bring their kids. We have locker rooms so they can take a shower if they don't have access to a shower. Some of the shelters don't have showers. Just a healthy space to get out of the smoke.
Now, Julie tells us several people are taking advantage of the Y's offer. The vouchers are available to evacuees and those in pre-evacuation zones through September. We'll continue to track fire information on air and online with our Facebook and Twitter feeds and the KPAX mobile app, especially tonight as we continue to see the red flag weather.
In other news this afternoon, police have now found 2 suspects accused of vandalizing an outdoor art display at the Missoula Art Museum last week. The incident was caught on surveillance video. It shows 2 women grabbing and bending the display to the point the museum management considers it destroyed. The incident was reported to police. They were able to identify the suspects and find them. Missoula museum staff say the incident is unfortunate and is forcing them to consider alternatives to existing security.
We are a community that loves public art. We want to come together and celebrate the artists in our community and the artworks that they make. We know that this is important and the art park is important, and we're just hoping that we're able to find a resolution that we're able to continue great programming like this in the future.
Authorities say the 2 have cooperated with investigators and have not been charged at this time.
The identities of two people found dead at a residence on Strand Avenue in Missoula last month will not be released to the public until the dental records and DNA tests are completed. 23-year-old Tiffany Pierce and 26-year-old Augusta Standing Rock were arrested and charged with deliberate homicide in connection with the deaths of these two people. Their bodies were found dismembered in plastic tubs filled with chemicals by investigators after an informant came to police with information about the incident. The two victims have not been identified by the coroner yet, as the condition of the bodies were in too rough of condition to be easily identified, so they're using dental records and DNA tests to conclude their report. That could still take several weeks. The next court dates for Standing Rock and Pierce have not yet been set. The FBI reports a Great Falls woman found dead in the trunk of a car last year actually died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. It was on September 6th of 2016. 47-year-old Rita Mays reportedly told her family and law enforcement that she'd been kidnapped from a rest area between Helena and Great Falls. Mays' body was eventually found in the trunk of her car outside the Spokane airport the next day. According to the Spokane County Medical Examiner, Mays died of a single gunshot wound to the abdomen.
Coming up, Russ has the latest on our red flag warnings, the gusty conditions, and increased fire danger. Plus, Hurricane Harvey still crippling Texas with ongoing rescues, and floodwaters continue to be a problem.
And later in sports, Mitch Schaefer will talk to the Sentinel Spartans football team preparing to play a crosstown rival this week. We'll be back here on KPAX.